Today, we're going to do something a little bit different for the Creators Podcast because, as the world basically knows, Los Angeles recently had a real devastating wildfire situation happen. And as we start to come out of it, tourism is critically important to not only California as a whole, but obviously West Hollywood, it's really important. So I'm sitting here today with Tom Kiely, the president and CEO of Visit West Hollywood, and it was important for us to sit down, I think, and talk about the recent situation with the wildfires, how it's affected our city, how travelers from around the world should look at us, and why people should come here.
Today we're here to talk about something a little bit more somber and unfortunate, but I think positive updates as well.
Yeah. We're going to, I want to talk a little bit about you and
Sure.
why you're in West Hollywood and how you got here and all of those kinds of things. Yeah. But I think, let's start with what's on everybody's mind, which is that for the last almost 4 weeks, we've been dealing with the crazy wildfires in Los Angeles.
Right.
And I just saw some research yesterday that said that people across the country believe that 30 to 40% of Los Angeles has burned, which is really incorrect, right?
Yeah, very much so.
I think a stat I saw was that maybe 2%,
correct,
maybe 3% at the very most of it. So anyway, so it's a misperception that we really need to work on.
It is, and it was exactly that. 2% was what I heard of LA County was destroyed by fire, and although it was very, very unfortunate, and it burned a lot of populated areas as opposed to being in the forest or in the the desert where you can have a fire and it really doesn't affect people's lives nearly as much. Here it did, and that's the really unfortunate part of it. There's no doubt, but it's it's incumbent upon us as a tourism bureau to tell the truth and to get the good word out there that West Hollywood is open. We are completely unaffected by the fires as far as our tourism infrastructure goes. All of our hotels are open. All of our bars and restaurants are open. All of our businesses are open and fully functioning, similar to what we had going on before the fire. It's really incumbent upon us to get the word out, to get visitors back here as soon as we can. I think there's also this misconception that our hotels, not only in West Hollywood, but in the surrounding communities as well, are filled to 100% capacity with people needing a place to stay who've lost their homes. That's not the case with us, and I think for all of a big section of the hospitality community in Los Angeles, our hotels definitely could use some help. They're looking for occupancy right away as well. So there's work for us to do for sure as a tourism bureau.
I think there was confusion, and I've heard this also from even Santa Monica and Beverly Hills as well, that there was confusion because when the fires first broke out, I think maybe residents thought they were so confined to that one area that our hotels did get a bump, and as did Beverly Hills and other surrounding areas. But what do you think happened from there?
Well, I do think that probably these hotels did get a bump, and I think probably ours did as well for a very quick moment. And I think Beverly Hills certainly benefited from that also. But I think as things kind of settled down a little bit, people migrated back to either going back to their homes when they were allowed to do so or found accommodation elsewhere. But clearly our hotels were in a very good position prior to this fire. And then it's really, we've taken a real hit in occupancy right now. We're starting to see business return already, but we've got to do everything we can in our power to get that occupancy, get the visitors back as quickly as we can, as many as we can, not only to fill our hotels, but to really help the businesses in West Hollywood.
Right. I've always said that West Hollywood is about the vibe, and the vibe comes from the amazing restaurants we have, the clubs that we have, just the vibrancy of even just walking down Santa Monica Boulevard or Sunset Strip. There's so much there, and that's really important, right, for us to keep visitors coming back.
Completely. When you come here, you're looking for exactly that, a really exciting experience, a really unique experience, and clearly having our city filled with visitors and having our restaurants and shops filled, nightclubs filled, hotels filled as well. I mean, that is what really makes that happen, makes that vibrancy occur in our city.
Yeah. So, for people who are across the country who may be thinking, I don't know if now's a good time to go to LA, either because the infrastructure has been damaged or because they don't want to be in the way, or maybe there's some guilt. I don't know. What would you say to people who are
I would say the headline there is come and visit right now. Come and visit us anytime for sure. Everything is open, not only in West Hollywood, but really throughout all of greater LA. Really, there was no significant damage to any tourism infrastructure throughout the greater LA region. Universal Studios is open, Warner Brothers is open. You can enjoy the beaches, Santa Monica, Venice, Hollywood, Beverly Hills, and everything that West Hollywood has to offer. Our total tourism infrastructure in Southern California is completely intact, and we're ready to welcome guests. So please, if you're thinking about coming to California, if you're thinking about coming to LA, please know that you can anytime come and enjoy what we've got to offer, but we would love to have visitors right now.
So let's talk a little bit about geography, because Los Angeles is so vast, and we always talk about West Hollywood being the heart of LA. So talk a little bit about where we are in relation to the fire and what we are as a city.
Well, sure. I think when you look at LA, it is a vast and sprawling city and county, quite frankly. And West Hollywood is really in the middle of it. So we're a very urban destination. And I think that, where these fires occurred are a little bit more rural. They border the mountains and the hills of Los Angeles County. We're nowhere near any of that. So I think, if anybody is having concerns about coming to West Hollywood and thinking, is this going to happen to me while I'm there? Is there going to be a fire that's going to be very devastating while I'm there? There's no guarantee. We can never say never. But we can say with a great degree of certainty that the odds of having a fire like that in West Hollywood are very slim, honestly. And I think that people will come here, they will see, that would be really a very small possibility. I mean, we're landlocked. We've got communities all around us, and we're very urban as a destination goes. And I think the odds of just having that type of situation in West Hollywood are very slim.
Right. I also think heightened alert and heightened security measures behind all of that stuff. Now that this has happened, it's probably never been a safer time.
Yeah, I think that, look, I'm sure the city and county officials are very, very keenly aware of what lies in our future, et cetera, to make sure that we don't experience this again. So, yeah, I think it's a very safe bet to come to West Hollywood and realize that type of situation that happened in Pacific Palisades would not ever likely happen in West Hollywood.
Yeah, one of our first messages out there was about even just LAX, because people were, can I fly in? LAX is fully operational, as is Burbank, which is another close airport. Rideshare, all working. It's all very normal.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly
for those areas like us who are not directly affected. And so it's a little strange in a way to be talking that way, but it really is business as usual. Tourism in West Hollywood, there's some stat about number of people that it employs. Do you happen to?
Yeah, it's just right around 7,000. I don't know what the current actual figure is, but the most recent survey, the most recent research we did, it was slightly less than 7,000 people are employed in the city of West Hollywood. And when you consider that our city is only really 1.9 square miles, has 35,000 residents. That's a pretty significant amount of people to be employed in one industry. If you look at what the sales tax that our visitors pay as well, you can clearly see that visitation is the number one driver of revenue to the city, of employment in the city. So tourism is vitally important to the city of West Hollywood.
Yeah, and has been from its inception.
Correct.
Obviously, this has been a place that people come to because of the amenities that we have. In terms of the almost 7,000, let's just talk about who those are. Those are hospitality workers who work at the hotels, the front desk, the dishwashers in the restaurants.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
It's everything that affects anything that a visitor might experience.
Correct. Anybody that is employed in a position in the city that would be directly affected by visitation, that's what that roughly 7,000 figure represents.
Yeah. So in a lot of disasters, it's like, okay, let's wait a minute, let's ascertain where we're at and things like that. But I think for Los Angeles, it ended up being, we got to get back to work really quickly. Even support for people in the burned areas, like people were right on top of that. They're already, rebuilding, they're cleaning those sites up. I think it's all going to move really fast. But I think it's really important for those 7,000 workers, for people to come, to be here, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
That's who it benefits. It's not about the big companies. It's not about the corporations. It's about, your neighbors who are working a day-to-day job.
Right, exactly right. It's like getting people back to work, keeping people employed. providing the services that visitors want and need, and knowing that, we really want visitors to come back right away and know that they can have the full West Hollywood experience immediately that they would have had prior to these fires, and then know that all of our city is completely intact and welcoming visitors right now. And we really want to send the message that our hotels are not full with people seeking refuge that might have lost their home, that we're really, really looking forward to having visitors come, right now and all the way, of course, throughout into the future.
The city runs on tourism. Our hotel community is so closely knit together, and we're so aligned with, the objective of what we're trying to accomplish here. Do you agree with that? And
totally.
What do you think about West Hollywood compared to some of the things that you've done?
I think it's fantastic. When I came here, I was really pleasantly surprised to see how cohesive our hotel community is, especially. I mean, they really work very closely together. And they don't really look at each other as competitors, but they complement each other, and realizing that most of our hotels are very unique and offer their own kind of proposition for the visitor. But I just was really very pleasantly surprised about how much there's camaraderie in our hotel community, which is fantastic. You don't find that in a lot of places. Yeah. We had that to a certain extent in San Francisco, but ultimately they're competitors with each other, so they can only be kind of only go so far. But here it was very different, and that was a really nice surprise.
Do you think wildfires are going to be an issue for international travel, or?
I hope not, and I don't think any of us know for sure. We're really hoping that we get a very quick rebound in business, that once this moves off the front page, once these fires are extinguished, which I think they're on the verge of being put out right now, that this will be, quickly forgotten from a standpoint from a visitor's perspective wanting to come to California. We always have concerns for our fellow residents that lost, their home or, maybe a loved one, which is very unfortunate. We'll always remember that. But, thinking that how quickly we can rebuild our business, I'm hoping this is a very quick uptick in business once again. That's why it was very important when we were in Australia last week to communicate this exact message that everything is open, that we are 100% full speed ahead with our tourism infrastructure and attracting tourists. I know Visit California is working very diligently on a plan to help supplement what we're doing as Visit West Hollywood, which will be really helpful. So I'm very hopeful that we can see a quick rebound here and a really strong spring and summer ahead of us.
Yeah, right. I agree. I think that a lot of what we're going to have to do over the course of the next short period of time is education.
Yes.
Which is what we're doing right here, is saying, look, West Hollywood was unaffected directly by the fires. Our businesses are open. You got to be here.
Right.
And just reiterating that it was a relatively small portion.
There's just not an understanding about the geography of LA, and that's understandable, right? I mean, I think it's a situation where you look at those fires, especially in the Palisades, and you see all those homes and businesses, burned. I think that was the biggest thing that I heard in Australia was they've got fires like we have, right? Wildfires,
right. Yeah.
but theirs burn in a very in an unpopulated area. So there was really a surprise that it's like you've got this whole city that is on fire, and how did that happen? I think that was really the big question, and we've got that question ourselves as well here. But I think that was really one of the things that's a roadblock for them. It's like there are structures on fire, there are people losing their houses, there are businesses that are gone, et cetera. And how widespread is that, and how is that going to affect my visit? And I think there is a certain amount, you mentioned earlier, kind of a guilt situation. And I think there's some people that feel guilty about coming to a place that might be distressed, and hey, I'm here to have a great time and you're suffering and I'm not. And that's something that is understandable. But really, when you think about it, having visitors come here and help our economy, help get our economy moving forward again is the best thing we can have happen, and really help those residents that were negatively affected by these fires.
Yeah, it's a great point. Like emotionally, what really will help is for people to get back at it.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else that
come visit us? Come to West Hollywood and enjoy everything we have to offer, and enjoy all of Southern California for sure.